12:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to welcome in anybody who watches this live, whether you're here during the live itself or here after when it's being released. Kryptonian, welcome in. I'm not sure how far this is going to go out. It's at a weird time for me to do this. But as you guys know, my weeks are becoming jam-packed because my son's got physical therapy a couple times a week. He's now got speech therapy on Thursdays as well. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, not just with school, but with everything else, just gets pretty busy. So I'm trying to still find a way to balance some lives during the week and still have an equal balance. So I like to do the lives. It's a big part of what I like to do. So I'm trying to find ways every day. So I think more around this time would be more appropriate. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if anybody shows up. Wales, Josie Wales, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. I appreciate that greatly. UK Phil, welcome in, my friend. I'm glad to see you in here as always. Long time in the house. That's awesome. Syrian, welcome in. Not only a very trusted mod, but I've been in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Trading with J-Ride, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP. Well, I guess that's the XRP Diamond Hands badge. That's crazy. It's just hard for me to believe there's people that have been in here for 3 years. It always makes me think twice when I'm trying to read it. But Trading with J-Ride, thank you so much. And he says, hit the like button when you come through the door. Yes, please hit the like button. It will allow YouTube to recommend my content, and then it'll pop up in the YouTube news feed, and it'll allow me to reach a wider audience. So I greatly appreciate everybody. Trading with J-Ride, I can't thank you enough for that long-standing support. Yopai, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon Badge. Wow, another long-standing supporter. That's unbelievable. Nazir, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, and that is my face super posed on that emoji badge is why. I thank you so much for joining Tom's Army in this very, bearish month. This would be one that I wouldn't expect much contribution from the audience, as far as like the donations and that kind of stuff for new members of Tom's Army, because normally you get a better draw when the market's moving up, and right now unfortunately we're in a moment of we'll go over it today, but it's the best thing I can tell everybody right now is we need to focus on the drop. So if this drop does happen, we have to target and pinpoint where we need to go. So for that reason and that reason alone, I've decided, as some of you know, I'm not, I've stopped the copy trading now. Aside from something I did for somebody who sent me a very nice message and begged me to do this on the way out. So I did. But I was going to send $750. I decided to send more than that. So I cashed out and sent over $830 over to our spot trading. So there's $820 that'll be on top of, I already have. So that put me at $3,600, just so everybody knows. Right now, my spot account is sitting at right around $3,600. So that's what I'm going to be looking to invest in: Winning Wednesdays, FOMO Fridays, and Motivated Mondays. Most of you know from last year we did Winning Wednesdays and FOMO Fridays when the time was right. I stopped my copy trading I was doing with the community on the spot. And that's exactly what's happening now, because I need to maintain my focus. But I also need to get my funds in the spots I want them at. So now all that speculative funds are no longer speculative. And I don't want to lose them now. So yes, there's the opportunity to make some, but in this time you're more likely to lose. And our last few trades, have gone on the sell side because, we're trying to go long. So now I've got that set up. So what that means is when we do lives on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we're going to focus in on an area, and the closer it gets to those spots, and there's a few of them we'll go over today, but first we're going to have to go over XRP. But I just want everybody to know who's watching why I've made sudden changes and why my copy trading account, everybody's used to it having $1,000 in there. Well, it now shows like $66. I got rid of all of the funds except for one person. They wanted me to put in a short at 40x, and I decided, what the hell? It's $66. If it goes out, it goes out. I'll let them have their fun. But so that's the only thing you'll see open. And once that closes, I'm BLOFIN. until I start spot trading. I'll build funds up, and then I will end up buying spot that are unique to that exchange as well. But this is something I believe strongly in. When you're going for your accumulation zone, I don't like to have my mind on 10,000 different things. So no, I don't think it's up to you. I'm not selling my position. There's no reason for me to take a tax hit when it's not where I want it to be anyhow. But for me, we all know the technical target, first target when we broke the rising channel, is 51.12. So we haven't hit 51.12 yet. So that's likely where we're probably going next. We invalidated the structure to pull this up. So I didn't want to sit through and lose any more money as far as what I wanted to take out. So I got it off the exchange. I think it just actually went through. Well, everything's already through. It's all where I want it to be now. So now I'm set up for our targeted zone. So the problem here is are we going to hold 51? That's the first target at 51.12. It seems like to me something bigger is going on. It's not just crypto. It's all markets. Stock markets getting crushed. Gold, silver, commodities. Pay attention to commodities. As there's going to be big opportunities coming up. But unfortunately, I think leading up until we get the rate cuts, we're going to have some market drops. And I think it's by design, because well, how is it easier to tell the masses that they're going to cut rates another 25 or 50 basis points? You have to end up bringing down the markets. And this doesn't have to do with commodities or crypto or the precious metals, I should say. But it gets pulled in if they raise the US dollar. Now, what ends up happening is they paint a lot of red, and maybe not specifically for crypto, but it ends up getting pulled in when this happens. They start cutting the funding when they print the money, and they stop putting it into the exchanges. They stop putting it into the stock market. And what ends up happening is you see very quick sell-offs. Well, what's coming up here in a couple weeks? The next FOMC meeting. So with the next FOMC meeting, if all the markets are going up, it's going to make it very difficult for them to say, oh, we need to cut rates, because everybody's going to say, oh, look how good we're doing. If the markets are crashing, it's the easiest way for Jerome Powell to come back and say, we need to have an emergency rate cut, or it's just on time to have this next rate cut. Everything's crashing, and they sure as hell don't want that happening into the election. So I feel like something bigger is taking place here. So I've kind of I fully backed off the leverage side, and now I'm looking at, well, where's our opportunity coming in our cryptos? Well, for me, XRP, you know I won't buy it unless it's under 40 cents. It's just, that's the way I do it. And I've had a lot of buying and selling over the last year and a half when it's come under 30 or 40 cents and given us the opportunity. Now, here's the real question. Do you start the bear flag at the broken channel, or do you start it down here at 51? I'm not ballsy enough to do that. I'll just be honest with everybody. So I go from the rising channel. And now, hell, maybe it does pull back and we back test that still. So, hey, UK Phil and Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor said, dues paid. I'm glad to see you are still in Tom's Army. I didn't even realize you weren't. I guess I did when I didn't see it on your name, but I didn't know if that was a glitch or what on YouTube, but I thank you for that, UK Phil. I really appreciate that on days like today. And Trading with Jay Ride, thank you for not only being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge, but the $10 donation as well. That was extremely generous. I don't think I've done really anything to deserve that today, in a sense. I mean, I think I've done a lot of work, but at the same time, I think I'm going to earn my keep here coming up when we go down, because we've been foreshadowing this drop, unfortunately. And now it's starting to play in that fashion. So it's to me, it's something that speaks to a bigger picture. So if we're targeting 41 cents on XRP, well, that might not even put me into a buy territory, you know, if it comes down there. But what I would be targeting, and yes, Trading with J-Ride, we will get into B2 Gold, I promise. I'm not going to look to see how many people are watching. I'm not going to see how many likes there are. I don't want to know. But please hit that like button. I'll check at like 1240. How about that? I'll check at like 1240 and we'll see. Because I don't want my content to be influenced on how many people are watching, how many people might be coming and going, how many people might have hit the like button or didn't hit the like button. I've got a general direction I need to go in today. So we see where XRP's at. We're looking for the culmination of the first drop here. Somewhere around 51 cents is that first target out of the rising channel. The ultra target out of the bear flag that I don't care what anybody says, I believe that's what it was, would end up being down at 41 cents at 41.85. Now you would have to come through a very key support right now, which is the 2018 resistance that is now a support. So obviously we would have to break this, and that is down somewhere around 48.7 cents. But the market to me right now, we got that bounce up to 56 cents. So there's no reason for me to think that it needs to come back up there anymore. I talked about the fair value gap. We took advantage of it, and now we don't. Now I'm tired of losing money if I'm going to take leverage trades. I've lost the last 2 or 3 now. They got stopped out, and I'm not going to keep trading to get stopped out, because at some point it's going to reverse, but I don't want to keep getting stopped out and waste my money. So now it gets to a point where there's a reason what's happening here and what you need to focus on. Where do you guys think the next drop happens? Where do you think it finishes at? Do you think it can be stopped at 51.5 or 51.1 or 48.7? Or does it come all the way back down and this is the 2018 formation, but now this is the uptrend that started in 2020? Do we think it comes down to 42.3? I just see a big drop coming. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I see a big fucking drop coming. That's it. Casper, what did I talk about? I've talked about this a long time ago. Where was my buy zone? Everybody knows. Remember when I wouldn't buy Casper? I'm preparing for something bigger. Now, am I fucking up holding XRP and not selling it right now? I very well, I don't look at it that way just because of tax purposes. But the XRP I hold just in the ledger is worth about, just on 10,000, it's worth over $5,000. So if somebody were to sell out of crypto right now, would I hold it again? No, I've sold out of everything but my XRP and my XRP healthcare, as most of you know. And this will probably take a huge dump. So, would I hold it against everybody? No. No, I wouldn't. Would I hold it against you to sell your mining stocks? Probably not. Because, as you know, I hit certain levels, and then when it gets rejected, I wait for the correction. So that's what I'm doing. Like, I've come to a point now with my crypto. I haven't held crypto in a long time besides XRP and XRP healthcare. And what I did at 38 cents was I bought $5,000 worth of the XRP Bitcoin pairing, and then I sold it after a 30-something% rise in the XRP Bitcoin pairing. That's where I made some money on XRP. So, like, I'm not in XRP to buy it and sell it as far as my holding shares. It's just, that's not the way I do it. So am I going to personally sell it? No. I'm going to wait until it comes down, and if it comes below 40, I'm going to load the fuck up. Well, maybe not at 4. We'll see where we sit. But I'm going to load up the next time when it gets down there. But where my focus is at is elsewhere. I've got better than 13,000 XRP at very desirable prices. It's going to take a big drop to allow me to buy more. Algo is where my heart is. Algo is where I'm looking. There's a few of them. What did he say? Laugh my ass off. Trash. What's trash? XRP? No, I think the whole crypto sector as a whole, was overvalued. And I talked about this in 21. And now, unfortunately, we're about to pay the piper, I think, in a pretty big way. Algo has been doing it, and my targeted buy on Algo is around 7.8 cents. And I absolutely think that's going to happen. I do. I think that's going to happen. And you could go from here because that was the last point that it hit our resistance. Or you can go lower, but I'm starting my targeted buy. And I'm going to delete this so we can see. But right around, and I'm going to paint the first. And the problem is I had this discussion with the audience. Do you start at 7.8 or do you start at 6.1? Or are we just splitting hairs at that point? Now, there's no guarantee it comes down there. But this will go down in history. This is not trash. No, I didn't say XRP. No, you're commenting to the commenter. No, I don't believe XRP's trash either. I just think we're coming down. And I've been setting up for a long time for the next Winning Wednesday and FOMO Friday. Last year when we did this on Algo, we were buying under 10 cents. and I sold it out at 26 and 28 cents. I haven't looked back. I won't buy it until it comes back to where I want. And we targeted our exact, we target these areas for a reason. So now we could say when it goes sub 10 cents, we could start the same trajectory. The problem is the last time we did this, there was fundamental reason. This time, you know, I have a strange suspicion we might come down maybe lower. That's the fucking problem here. And this isn't a bear flag that brings us down here. This is a busted formation. And there was an opportunity on this inverse head and shoulders, and it got rejected at the top. And then it fell through. Now the general consensus says you pay the fucking piper. Unfortunately, excuse my French. So the consensus would tell us on algo, you know, paying the piper, you're at least coming down to 10 cents, but the technical move down tells us it's down at 7.8. Like, do I want to mess around with what I'm looking at? Or actually, it could be as low as 6.1. I don't really want to mess with the fundamentals. Like, I don't want to mess with the technicals. I'm sorry, I don't. Like, I wasn't willing to do it with everybody else's money, so I don't do it with mine, certainly. But does everybody understand what the big dilemma is here? Oh, shit, I looked. I didn't want to look. And I looked right at 12:22. Well, since I looked, we have 52 likes. Make sure to hit that like button. And we only have half the people have hit the like button. That's okay. I'm going to look again at like 12:50 just to see how many people hit the like button. But I have to be honest with myself. And when I am, I do a much better job. Like, and I had to make some tough decisions today. And I was having a lot of fun doing certain things, like with the cop. It just brought a unity. But there's certain things like, God, it's like where we're going now. And we've been talking more, 23% drop. That was a day ago. But look how far back we talked about this. Where's this at? We talked about 8 days ago. Beware if we talked about the support, the start of 25% drop. That initiation's already started. You know, that was 8 days ago I started talking about it. But at the same time when we talked about it, we still talked about the move that was the 56 cents for the fair value gap first, possibly 58, which started happening. Now, with XRP, from that point, when we got rejected, we've already come down 6.8%, but that's not where that number starts. Like, that number started when you broke the rising channel. That was useless up there for the start of the drop. My anticipation was when it broke this level at 54.3, where it ended up doing it, it would be a 23% drop or 25% drop in totality. I mean, that's why you have that 40.4 cents. Then you have the technical drop out of just the bear flag, and that's 23.25. But that 25% drop, because in my mind I said, hell, if it's coming to 41.70, it's going to come down the extra 2%. You can't convince me it's not going to, because then it would be, well, maybe, you know what? Maybe you could convince me, because maybe it won't come down as far. Maybe 42.3 cents would hold it. After all, that's the overwhelming formation. But I just don't see a way around at least coming to 48.7. I don't. Because now we'd have to back test, and look what would happen. And this is the beauty of this. Let's say we don't break down all the way. And let's say it holds, and by God, please hold. Like, I don't want it coming down all the way. For transparency, I do not want it coming down all the way, and you'll see why in a minute. Because if we come down and finish this, and let's just say it's a 6 point... Huh? Oh, they are? Oh, do you have your license? Will you grab me it, please? But the 6.2% drop from here, let's say it holds 48, thank you, Julie, holds 48.7 cents. Well, now all of a sudden, look what you, and just listen, and this is what I hope is happening, because we've talked about this, and you can go back to the video 8 days ago when I talked about the fair value gap. This is exactly what I drew out 8 days ago. So imagine we have this, and it plays around, and then it gets a double tap somewhere around here, and then it comes back around. Like, you would have a big W reversal, and if you look at the 3 hourly, but look how that would look. Now, could somebody see that happening? Oh, you want to do it? Oh, it doesn't matter. I can do it if you go inside. It doesn't matter. My audience doesn't care. You can go back inside if you want. But could you guys see a W reversal like that happening? Let's just keep it on the blue line. Because, and I'll show you, that's the 2000, that's the downtrending resistance. That was resistance all the way back to 2018. So I think it's more likely to have a big double tap here if it's going to hold. So boom, swing around, and then if it holds, you would get a bounce back, something like that, and this is how it would look. Or something, you know, from the bottom. So could that happen? I would like to believe it could happen. I would love to hear what everybody has to say. I would love to hear what everybody has to say about this. Because right now, there's no doubt about it, we're in the shit zone now. We are in no man's land, and nobody likes to be here. Nobody. Nobody. I don't care how you dice it. The only way you'll like to be here is if you know what you're doing. Wales, Josie Wales has his priorities. He knows what he's doing. All or nothing with my luck. As soon as I sell it, will lump. It happened to me before, never again. Yeah, that's why I'm not suggesting to sell. I didn't say I was selling my XRP. I sold my other stuff long ago on this rally. Everybody knows I had H-bar. It was up well over 13, 14 cents. I had H-bar. I had DGB that I sold well almost 2 cents. I had XLM that I sold well over, I think it was around 12 cents when I finally got rid of it this time around. ZIL was what, I mean, that was, they were all trending up, way up. We were up several 100%, and at Casper, I was the first one to say I'm out. Everybody remembers I said, this don't feel right. It should have broke out of this consolidation, but I was the first one out long ago. It was a long time ago. Like, we're talking well before all of this. I was the one who said I was waiting to have it buy back after I sold. I think it got rejected somewhere. I don't remember where it was at. Oh, up here. It got rejected somewhere. And we were supposed to have a technical move up, and I was going to wait for all the way up to 2.8. I remember this now. And then I sold out on the rejection. I think I was somewhere around here, so I didn't even get what I wanted. But then it came all the way down, and man, am I glad I sold. But I seen it in the technicals. But now is this foreshadowing what XRP is about to do in the rest of the market? I don't look at this as an anomaly moment. I don't. Look at DGB down at 6.7. They are on to you, Tom. They want to make you look bad. Keep doing what you're doing. Outsmart them for you and your family. And us, bro, you can do it. We won't stop following you. Oh, yeah, I really appreciate that. So, and that's why you guys see me always try to get to these moments. This is why I love the washout. Oh, somebody said washout. I was going to say the collapses. But I do like moments like this. How else am I going to build a portfolio outside of XRP? I've made so much money the last year and a half that not just my precious metals, and my precious metals now are unbelievable. They've just gone unbelievable since we started what we were doing, even together. But just the holdings have shot out a cannon. And it got to a point where they were getting oversold, overbought, and you guys all know the philosophy. I ride it a certain way, and because I don't have enough funds to do everything I want, I end up letting it cool off. So now, I'm going to let things cool off for a bit. I'm letting things cool off for a bit, and then I'll reevaluate here after we get the correction. After we get the correction, B2 Gold's at $3.40, and I firmly believe that if we don't hold here, we'll probably be coming down a lot farther, just in the short term, because we still have higher targets. But just in the very short term. And it's tough. It's tough for me to say this, but it kind of looks like we could have had a failed attempt up. Like, it feels like a failed attempt up, and it feels like it could be a rather quick retug. Now, I'm not telling you to sell out of everything, because we do have a nice W reversal. We could just be back testing the formation. But as far as if you're looking to buy these, you know, you got to be very careful, because I feel like we're getting a rug pull through the markets. I can't help it. So as far as me suggesting to buy, no, I don't suggest to buy any of it right at this exact moment, because you should have been buying it much lower. Now, if you want to lock in profits, oh, you better believe you do that. You better believe you do that and then some. Because right now we're in an uncertain moment. Uncertain moments make for good times to buy soon, to buy a lot. And with the precious metals, I'm not worried about precious metals. I wouldn't sell any of those. It's the commodities, because they're on the stock market where they tend to rug pull all of it. So you just got to be careful. But, you know, it was up, not 20, it was at, holy shit, maybe it was. It was like 19, whoa. It was like 19,000, wow. Because I started at 3,500, and then, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. I've only added like oh man. Anyhow, see what happens, because I was buying precious metals for so long, I wasn't just buying the commodities. So when I was buying the gold and silver, I didn't buy commodities at the same. I had to put every liquid dollar I had into that. And then when I made good crypto moves, man, did it help in a big way. A big way in 21. I can't even describe how much it made me in 21. On the precious metal side of it, not even the, oh man. I am so craving this. I want the drop. I want the drop. I'm sorry for anybody who's in with me, but I want the drop. No, not in with me, but anybody who just bought or anybody who's buying over 40, I want it to drop, which means it'll probably go up because I want it. But, you know, I don't think there's any way to avoid what comes next. Even if we get a short-term boost, I really don't. Oh, YouTube's not giving notifications, those bastards. Nah, they never do. So let me go to my live, and I'm gonna share it by myself. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna hit create a post. I'm gonna share it to all channel members, and I'm gonna hit post. And I want to know if any of you get this. I want to see if it even pops up on my own phone. Probably not. Hey, wait a minute. It said on my phone for members only. Well, that's nice. But then again, I'm the one who shared it, so of course it would show me. But anyhow, so let's take a look around the market. Like, am I making sense to everybody, or do you not understand? Gala's down 6.6%. Amp's down 6.6%. Amp, we bought Amp, and we held it for 2.5 days. We had Amp at 0.005. I'll never forget this. Right before this breakout. No, not there. Yeah, it is right there. This is right here. Right before the breakout. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. We bought it at 0.0. Maybe it was lower than that. 0.005. It might have been 0.004 something. But anyhow, we bought it, and in 2.5 days, we got mocked for holding XRP, and it was only up like 40%. But we were doing this like it was, like we were buying candy. Like it was pretty crazy, the run we had in this moment. And this is what helped me do a lot more too. I ended up buying this at like 0.048. And in 2.5 days, roughly, it was somewhere over here. I remember, because it was literally the day before it went up. So we bought it right here on this wick, apparently. And then it bounced out. And that was the best move I made all year. Because in 2.5 days, I had like $1,000 or it was either 800 or 1,000. But in 2.5 days, we were up over 300%. It was fucking crazy. It was awesome. So that was the happiest I probably was the whole year, because my $800 investment roughly ended up turning into almost $3,000. I'll never forget that. That was a couple $1,000, and literally we fell asleep, we woke up, it was up like 60%. We were like, oh my God. But that's what you can only get, you know, when you are already in the market before the move. That's why right now, if you're in the market and you're buying the stuff now, if you're already in precious metals and commodities, you know, you got to be very careful before you sell, because before you know it, it could just re-rise back up. You always have to remember that. I'm just saying, to buy right now is dangerous if you're not in, because you always want to buy in a pullback. And right now you're starting to get a pullback. So if it's really going to fall like it's trying to show right now, let's see what the totality is. That's all. If it lets you buy B2 Gold at 325 instead of 342, it's a win. If First Majestic comes down and you're not in it already, and it lets you come down, because that was a healthy move. Everybody who was in this with us since $4.71 can now say, well, Tom, you know as well as I do, there's got to be a correction somewhere. Right? And everybody knows this. So from $4.07, actually it was $4.61, but we'll take $4.71. It makes it look not as much. Even right now, I mean, in such a short amount of time, it's up 64 fucking percent. So this could be a head. We came up and we finished off this pattern now. I mean, that's just how it goes. So is it going to come back and have a full-blown correction to where now all of a sudden, yeah, it came up here, we're up here, but now patience would be the virtue because now it's showing the proof of correction. So maybe, just maybe, you go into the longer time frames and you're like, well, where do we sit in the 4-hourly? Okay, well, we're over exacerbated. We're gonna have to come back and prove in the 20-day that we've got this support with us. So to me, $7 would be the first area, probably on the 20-day, and in the 2-hourly, if that doesn't hold, then all of a sudden you start talking maybe 625. Maybe it's a little higher at 734 in the 2-hourly. That could be, but generally, let's see where the 200 is in the 30-minute. 680. See, that makes a little bit of sense. I could okay. See, I'm seeing a correction here. B2 gold. See, that's the one I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about B2 gold. I don't know if this is still ready to keep going, because this one, it's got a lot of built up aggression here. That's all I'm going to say. B2 gold's the one that I wouldn't be dicking with at all. That's the one you just got to kind of sit there, and it's going to be your bitch for a while. And if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. But we've been with it since $2.32, and or $2.38, and I ain't turning my back on it now. So with B2 gold, what do I see in the 4-hourly? And then we'll go back to crypto. I've rebounded maybe on 332. Make sure we've got that support, because we haven't tested it in a number of candles since we came up from $3.13. Then we came to $3.50. Now to come back down to 332 seems more than capable. It seems capable. No. I haven't done anything on winning Wednesdays. Like, we're just talking about winning Wednesdays right now, because we need to see if we're going to get a bigger drop, or, you know, where our targets are. Right now, winning Wednesdays, we're just talking about, and I hope that helped with B2 gold and the precious metal stuff. But with right now, with what we're looking for on winning Wednesdays is a setup. We're looking for a target. We're looking for our first entry point, and the first one's going to be algo, as most of you know. So we're looking for that entry point. So for me, the first spot to start buying, I'm just going to be very, very basic. We're going to do a basic analysis. And I think this is out ahead, and it's showing everybody what's going to happen, like with XRP when it's doing its little up and down. I think algo is telling us a lot about what's ready to... What the hell? Whatever. Let me fix this. I don't know what happened there. This is just a short term, though. Like, you know, this is, you got to see how it really was set up right here. So, like, you're looking at it. Once it breaks this, these aren't good setups, is all I'm saying. Like, I don't like to come on here and be like, oh, we're fucked. But, like, these aren't good setups. We're outside of a breakdown, and we're consolidating the breakout. What do you think happens when the breakdown consolidation breakout, or breakdown consolidation, that consolidation breaks down? Then you go for the technical move. Well, I mean, if you target the bear flag, or not even the bear flag, but the draw, I mean, look where this is. So, what I'm looking at, my first targeted zone is around 9.3 cents. How about that? How about that? For algo, I will start winning Wednesdays, FOMO Fridays, or motivated Mondays, whichever one comes first. When algo hits this designated drop, hey, how convenient. They're all measuring out around 22%, 23%, at 9.2 cents. Now, these could very well go the other direction. You know crypto. So we could be making a horrible mistake in not doing it now. But I tend to believe you try to find your zone and then you shoot your shot. So, I don't know though, because I'm going to reevaluate right now and start looking to see what I'm really paying attention to. So, DGB. So everybody is probably surprised that I still refuse to buy it back after selling it around, I had a really big run up here. But I was around 1.8 cents. I'm not going to claim I sold it at 2.2 or 2.1 way at the top, because I didn't. I didn't sell it at 2.265. I sold it at 1.8. But I bought it at 0.05 and 0.07 with somebody else, a smaller amount there with somebody else in the audience. But that person in the audience was very happy when it went up 200% because they thought they missed it when I bought it at 0.005, and I said, no, we couldn't be more wrong. Anything under a penny is a great deal. I didn't know it was going to go up that much, but I was very happy it did because that was one of my bigger movers. That was almost 400. What was that? In totality, it was about... No, that was a couple hundred for DGB. It did me well. Let's just say it did me well. 200+%. But now it was one of those patience games, and I'm very patient because I see things that start to happen, and then I'm like, you know, if I was the market manipulators, what would I do? It's just XRP's different for me. I've already done the buy and sell game. I've already done it during the time I've held it too, since 34 cents. I bought more at 38, and then I sold out after buying $5,000. You guys all know the story. You all know the story. So, and yeah, it'll be time, but you got to pay attention to the setups. We want it to go up as much as the next person, but it's not just XRP. DGB's got a big bear flag, right? Even DGB. We're looking at a DGB. And I'll take the short target, right? I don't need the big one. Let's just say that's where the cutoff is because that's probably where it is. And then you look at the measurement. Oh my God. If 002, oh, these are what dreams are made of. My fucking God. Oh, there's no way. There's no fucking way it's going that far. Is it? Is DGB going that far? No, I've got, my mind needs to rethink. Is this going to be a bigger drop than I suspect? I'm having 2021 deja vu. Was anybody in here in the live in 2021 when I had that big bearish moment when XRP was at $1.60 or $1.72 and it was coming down, and all of a sudden at $1.66 I wholesaled the fuck out? Does anybody remember that moment? We have 98 people here, so there is a chance that one of you were there in 2021. I think that we might be, guys, this might be the moment we've been waiting for a while. This might be the historical crash. If that's the case, we're going to have a serious moment when it comes to XRP of, do you hold it through a historical crash or do you drop it during a historical crash? Because that's a big fucking bear flag. I'm just not willing to. I don't think I'd be willing to sell it. I really don't. For the fact that not only did we buy it and sell it at 28.5 and sell it at 42, we bought it back at 34.5, bought more at 38, sold $5,000 in the XRP Bitcoin pairing from 38 cents after that crash this year, and resold it out, made a 30% on that, so that was a lot. Not only that, I had bought over the top when I first bought the 34.5, which I was very transparent about when it had the big rally up. And I sold everything over 10,000, which was, I had like 18,000. So I sold that and kept 10,000. Built it back up to like 14 now. But now it almost feels like, you know, I got to be honest with myself. There's a reason why I do technical analysis. Like, No, that's exactly what I did. You know, honestly, that's exactly what I did. And you know what? I'll be honest. Maybe the copy traders that survive, now that it shows a loss on copy trading, maybe the ones who survive, because I have a 40x short out right now. It's only a $66 short, but maybe every day I'll add like a 10x or something, like $30 to a 10x or something as it's coming down. Something not over exaggerated, but something that could get you a lot of money if this drop does happen. Man, my gut is telling me though, Tom, you know what you're seeing here. Just let it play out. Just let it play out and just let it do what it's going to do, because you've got an opportunity here with your audience. Just let them know that they need to build up some cash. So my audience, let me tell you this. Build up your cash right now on the exchanges. If you're looking for a way to do it, and right now I'll be very transparent with everybody. I will be buying the stuff first that's on BITUNIX. So anybody on BITUNIX, I'm putting my money on BITUNIX. As you know, I've been adding it up. So I'm just going to let it keep building up. With what I sent over today, it's over 3,000 as of today. We'll just call it 3,000 with the money I sent over. So I have $3,000 to work with today on BITUNIX. Now, when I do Motivated Wednesdays, which is a new addition, as well as Winning Wednesdays and FOMO Fridays like last year, remember, it's only technically $75 a day. It's either $50 or $75, whatever we determine. I will probably do $75 each day so that we can get through more cryptos and add to our holdings. Yes, Mr. Carter was there. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for well over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge as well. I'm pretty sure the Great Falling was there as well. I see him in the audience. He was there for winning. A lot of you guys were there. So, get it right on BITUNIX. They have no KYC or VPN. And what I've been doing on Cash App, and I'm not joking, I've been taking on Cash App, and I've been sending to my ones that don't have KYC or no KYC, so I can't send it to my bank account. I've been literally sending Bitcoin from my BITUNIX to my Cash App if I wanted to take money. I was sending it from my exchanges to Cash App, and then I was putting it into my precious metal or my commodities when I first started. That's how I was doing it. And even today, you can do it. There's ways to get around the KYC if you have a way on the other end. Like I can do it through Cash App and Venmo right now. Obviously, I'll pay taxes on whatever comes through Cash App or Venmo, but that's a way to do it. So I think we're on the right track here, and I think we listen to our intuition and we let this market do what it's going to do. But we have our money set up. So BITUNIX is right there. For me, it's the most transparent. It's the lowest spot and leverage trading fees I found, hands down. Hands down. It's not even close. So HOTCOIN I do like for its own reasons, though. This is the thing. I like HOTCOIN because it does have the XRP Bitcoin pairing. So without HOTCOIN, I couldn't have traded $5,000 and made 30% in a very short amount of time. It couldn't have happened. You know, and you all were there when that happened. If you were paying it, you know, if you were here at the time, I was very transparent with that. I always am with my buys and sells. Even my copy trading, how we lost money today. You know, I'm very, very transparent. You know, we went from a gain to a loss. And that's what happens. But yeah, that's why we're, Lee, so just get your stuff set up, everybody. But that's why we're talking, Lee. Is it a full-blown drop here, or is it one of those things where we're not coming all the way down and we've got that set up as well? And that's why we're paying. Did it really just come under 52 cents? What the fuck? But that's what, wow, that was quick. But we've got that spot right here at 48.7, where if that's the case, we get a big W there. See, I'm not selling XRP. That's not what I'm doing here. Oh, big time roller coaster. But that's why I'm making my own preparations. When I see it happening, yes, I had fun with leverage. Yes, I had fun copy trading. Yes, there were some big ups and some big downs. But I know when the time is ready for the spot. And I know when it's time to, hey, Tom, you got to get ready here for the drop. This is when I get the most excited. I've been in a zombie land for the last year. Almost. At least the last 6 months since I sold out most of my positions after the pickup in 23. So, you know, I've been waiting. This has been a waiting game. So the leverage was cool, but you know, at a certain point, I don't care for it that much. I don't even like to do it that much. So it's just, I don't mind having that $60 40x short though. Yeah, it might get liquidated, but it's 60 bucks. I don't mind doing that. And the person who suggested me doing it, thank you. Thank you. XRP healthcare might hit 0.14. Yes, I totally agree with that. I agree with that. Because I believed we were going to fall out of this pattern once it, if it fell out. I didn't believe it was going to happen 100%, but after it got rejected, it kind of looks like it's more favorable that this was just a consolidation for a further move. But I've been talking about, you know, I'm going to have an exchange ready for everybody too, outside of the XRP ledger or outside of Zoom and that, where we can buy XRP healthcare in the USA. I promise you. And this is going to be sooner rather than later, because this is one, and it's not going to drop this far, mind you, because it can't. So that's where you have to start looking, like, where is the real spot that it's going? And for me, I could see it doing the same thing as XRP. And like, I'm not here to build a conspiracy or anything, but I'm here to build a conspiracy. So we just talked about XRP with that W on the back test of a breakout. Well, we had a similar area that we broke out on XRP healthcare. So what if it did do this to come all the way back around to hit it a second time and then bounce out? I mean, it's not as unlikely as it might seem. It's not as unlikely as it might seem, but that is a rather substantial drop. It doesn't look like it on paper, but that exact same drop as XRP. So nobody said trading is easy. The only ones who end up getting ahead in trading, excuse me, are the ones who pay attention day after day, and they have a plan. So I'm trying to set up a plan with my audience before the shit happens. There's a reason why I told everybody, you know, I was going to play it back up to 52.40, but then I said no, or 54.30, and I had a stop loss for $100 and something. It might have been $138 stop loss. And then I said, you know what, screw this. After $30, I said, fuck that. I'm just going to cash out the entire thing, and then I'll do the 40x short, because I believe that's likely could be a good play, and for $60, and push it back. Push it all back into the spot buys, because I feel like something bigger is happening. I can't help it. I talked about this 8 days ago. I'm not trying to piss people off. I'm not, you seen, I even came on live. You know, I'm not trying to make people scared. I just feel like something's not right. And generally when I feel that way, things aren't right and bad things happen. Do I want XRP to just fall off the cliff? Hell the fucking no. But if it does, we'll be ready. Oh, we'll be ready. And not just for XRP, we'll be ready. We will be ready. I know we'll be ready. I'll be ready. You'll be ready. We'll all be ready. And you know what? If we have to pay the piper, the only piper we're paying is ourselves. ICT concepts. Can't say that it strikes a memory off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But yeah, it looks like, I mean, it just, the whole market looks like this. So, okay, so we already know about Algo, that we're going to buy Algo, right? We already know about Algo. But what's another one? We know H-bar I'm going to be buying back. I haven't held H-bar for a while. Ever since we sold out, I was going to buy it back on the consolidation. I sold out near 15 cents. Bought in at 5 cents, 5.2 on Winning Wednesdays and FOMO Fridays. And when it came back down, my intention was to buy, but we got that bullshit where they had an artificial run up, as everybody knows, and I said that was the worst thing that could have possibly happened. It was the worst thing that could have possibly happened to us. And it happened, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but we had a fake story about BlackRock, and it ended up coming from, like, it was right down where we needed to consolidate, and it ended up spiking out again. And it was an artificial, it might have even been here where we hit the, I don't know, but it was an artificial run up. I can't remember exactly where. And when it did that artificial, we were just screwed. We were screwed. We were absolutely screwed. And, oh, I remember now. It was right here. We came all the way from 18 cents down to 8.9, and it was trajecting its way back down. And then it went up to 12.2 cents right there because of that fake report, and it screwed it all up. And it was meant to come down first, and then it gave us the resources to come even farther, and then likely farther yet. So when I start studying things, I'm looking for my opportunity. I always tell people, if I'm buying in, it's got to be a spot where I feel good in holding when it comes down farther. Because I need to know if it comes down, you know, 50% where I bought it from, that I can bring my average down with me. If it comes down 100% from where I bought it, I need to know I can at least move my moving average back 50 to 60%. But it's got to be in a good spot. You know, I can't do it from $1 and bring it back to 50. If I do it at 34 and then I can bring it back to 17, if it had a historical drop, well, that's okay then, I think. But, oh, this isn't unbelievable. 40 went 30x short from 53.36. This, oh yeah, it's a beautiful short. That's a beautiful short. I honestly can say, like, these are not pretty, folks. And it's the whole market. It's not just XRP. It's not. And this might just be the start of something unbelievable here. And you see, remember how I said I wasn't willing to sit there and just lose that $130-something of everybody's money? That would have just happened. That would have just happened. And now that short has room to work. And then it's going to stay working until this finishes, if it allows it. That's it. And that was a 40x short. I don't know, 52.30, 52.40, wherever I sold that stuff out. And it was $66. So it's probably up. Who knows? I don't know how much it's up, and I don't even care, to be honest with you. I just want to see if this plays out in totality. And then if it does, that money that was lost on the other futures trades, the last couple, would just be made back anyhow, not even planning on making it back. But I do something to allow the market to do what I think it's going to do. Are we bouncing? It'd be 51.1 cents would be the area. That'd be the first bounce point. I don't think so. The daily's not suggesting it wants to stop there. Oh yeah, and all of crypto, all of the YouTubers are all saying how we're going up. I feel like, again, I'm on an island that I've been talking about. For 8 days I've been talking about this. For 8 days I've been talking about this, at least. And I know it because it's in my past videos. The only video I had was when I talked about how the machine learning program said XRP was going to go up 20, and people are saying that I said that. I was trying to show what everybody is talking about, and we had a nice update, and we talked about it, but this is what everybody... I did it one day when I talked about the machine learning... Where the hell is this machine learning thing? I don't even remember where it was at. Oh, machine learning algorithm says XRP plus 16% to 63 cents this week. But I've been... The same day I talked about my own morning. So I talked about it the day before we talked about it. Catastrophe setting up 3 days ago. Like, I've been pointing to that 23% drop for a long time. I want to go back and see how long I've been talking about this shit. I know it's been at least 8 days. We talked about if we lose the support 8 days ago, a 25% drop. Do not ignore bear flag 10 days ago, 23%. But we talked about 11 days ago, too, the FVG gap that has to fill at 56. So what ended up happening? We filled the gap, and then it dropped. Warning, if bear flag plays out, 23% drop to 40.5 cent area on that was 13 days ago. This is massive crypto sell-off. U.S. government clears 69,000 Bitcoin. That was 2 weeks ago. I mean, this is something that's been playing out now, and it's unfortunate because... Unfortunately, we didn't take the up route here. We did not take the up route. You invested 70K in XRP. Where the hell did you invest it at is my question. But if you're holding, does it really matter? I mean, on the screen it does. It's paper trail anyhow. Until you sell out, does it really matter? Not really. But yeah, it does matter because you want to buy at the right spot. Like for me, I won't buy XRP over 40 cents for a reason. I made this proclamation all the way back in 2021 when I sold out. So everything I buy has to be under 40. But then I did buy in 23, late 22 when it was at 28.5, and I did sell out again against my own thinking at 42. And then I bought back in at 34. And then I sold out, you know, what was over 10,000 when I had that unexpected run up. And then I bought more at 38 cents in the XRP Bitcoin pairing. And then I sold that out when it was up 40%. But I added 4,000 to my XRP holdings in my XRP ledger. So like I have a very strategic strategy, but I sold out of everything besides XRP healthcare and XRP now. And it's been a long time, several months. You're talking a lot of the stuff I sold out is down better than 50% already. So like, does it hurt me to hold XRP? No, I've already made more than I can possibly lose here on XRP alone. So like, I don't worry about that. All I had to do was make sure I was making more than what I would lose on XRP. And I even if it drops and I lose $3,500 on what I bought it for, I would have made more than $3,500. In 2023, just on that $5,000 trade, it made 30%. So, you know, that to me was 1,500 right there, if not more. And there's been several XRP trades, especially the one at first from 28 to 42, and then, or 28 and a half to 42. And that was $3,500. So, I mean, that whatever that percentage was, and then it allowed me to branch off into XRP healthcare and some of the other things that we did on Winning Wednesdays and FOMO for. Oh, it was unfucking believable. Unbelievable. And now after what I had staked, I have over 61,000, like 62,000 XRP healthcare tokens. But I only had to buy like 53,000, 55,000, something like that. But now you can't stake anymore because there's no more staking, which I talked very clearly about when I was doing it. There was only so many tokens dedicated to staking. So that opportunity's gone. But the next mission of mine is to have an exchange in the very near future with XRP healthcare that you guys can just click on the link and be able to buy XRP healthcare when we come down. Oh, I need to buy way more XRP healthcare. All of you know I've been waiting a long time for it to come back under 2 cents. Oh my God, I can't fucking wait. It's been forever. Because I know this is one that I'm gonna have to buy a shitload of. And I'm not just talking 66,000. I'm talking like a couple 100,000 tokens while they're available. Because once they're gone, they're gone. There's only so many for us to buy. So I think this is more than just crypto, though. I think this is all markets. I talked about how the U.S. dollar currency index was going to have this artificial rise, and it's either going to be back up to 106.50. It could be all the way back up to 110, or it could stop here at 104.80. But I don't see that. They're trying to make things look better than they are going into the election. So of course the US dollar is going to spike right before the election. And this is why I thought commodities could have a reversal. We talked about this last week. We talked about with cryptocurrency how everybody expects it to go up when the US dollar is going up, but I disagree with that. Because it would just, the dollar would be worth more, so a lot of times you can lower the nominal value of, it's just so weird how this happens. Ooh, Telcoin. Let me write this down. That's absolutely one that was supposed to be on my list. Son of a bitch. And for transparency, I'm also building up money on HOTCOIN as well. And there's one reason why. I would like to have on HOTCOIN, because they have this pair. So make sure you also in the video description below and or pinned comments, you follow me on HOTCOIN as well. They also have a promotion right now on HOTCOIN. Alice told me about it, and I was talking to her to try to get some kind of kickback for the community. She's somebody that I can talk to that actually can help me. That's like a deeper within. So let me add this real quick. But let me remember this, because on HOTCOIN, and it's great that I'm thinking of this right now, because she's like set this up for me. So October 22nd to November 6th on HOTCOIN, and click on the link in the video description below or on my homepage. If you do put $100 into futures, on your first deposit and your first trade, you make $20 just for trading one time. If you put $500 today or until the 6th into the futures and you do 20,000 in futures trading, so if you have $500 and you do a 10x trade, that's $5,000. So if you do that 4 times, you get a free $100 voucher. And I'm not telling you you can just buy it to sell it to buy it to sell it, but you could buy it to sell it to buy it to sell it just to try to do it. You know, but do it within reason, because you got to let like 5 minutes pass. Otherwise, the system will detect some bullshit. And that's what all crypto exchanges do with these. So give yourself a few minutes at least. $1,000 deposit. So a 10x trade would be $10,000. You do 5 trades, and that's $50,000. And you'd get $210 in free futures trading voucher. And like, I'm going to do this myself. I think I'm going to do this myself. You know, possibly. $5,000 if you deposit it and you do 200,000 in futures. So 10x trade on 5,000 is 50,000. So 4 of those. And if you do 200,000 in futures trading and deposit 5,000 in your futures account, they give you a $1,200 futures trading bonus. And in that bonus, the voucher, once you get it, when you use it, it's good until it goes to 0. Now there might be I don't know if the stipulation you can buy and sell, but the voucher is good until it goes to 0. I'd have to see what the voucher says when I get it. But that's a lot of money you can get. So if you have HOTCOIN, if you're a futures trader, please, if you're a future trader, go on there and send some money over there and take advantage of this for the love of God. I did last time the whole $1,200, as most of you know. And I got a trading voucher, and I just used it until I made back the trading voucher. And then I sold off the trading voucher. Last time you could buy and sell it as much as you wanted. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But it's an unbelievable promotion. So please take advantage of that. But I'm going to be buying... There's a certain pairing that I'm buying on there. Not just the XRP Bitcoin pairing, but Velo. They have Velo on HOTCOIN. And that is the #1 pairing that I want to buy on that exchange. They've got Velo. So, and I'm looking for where I would buy. I don't know if it'll hold here, but the first level is right around here. This was, well, the target was 9.7, but it's gonna, we're just gonna have to redo all of this. We'll do all of this later, but this is the one, another one, that when we get to FOMO Friday, Winning Wednesdays, and Motivated Mondays, you better believe, right from the beginning, when that time is, I will be buying Velo. This is on XLM, the Stellar Network, and this is one I believe in the future, when it gets back into its proper consolidation, because after all, it's got to come, it had such a big run-up, that it should come back down in consolidation. So I always try to buy it when they return back to consolidation, the uptrends. So it's either probably... Oh man, that is where that was at. This will probably be something I buy if it breaks down. You know, it might not come all the way back down to there, but we'll find the proper spot. We'll find the proper spot, but the uptrend suggests it would be somewhere around 4.5, But that's why I'm on HOTCOIN as well. For that, the XRP Bitcoin pairing opportunities. Talcoin is a great one that we'll be looking at. I'll look at the exchanges appropriate for it. I think BITUNIX, let me look at it real quick. I think BITUNIX has, I could be wrong though, it might have Talcoin. I hope it does. Nope, I'm wrong. It is not on this exchange. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, Daniel. Well, you can start a dollar cost average right now, or on XRP Healthcare just for transparency. It does look like it's got to play down a little bit. So I'd hate to tell you to buy right now just for you to be able to save. But our analysis seems to suggest, unless we break back over 2.4 cents, we're probably going to make a trek down to 1.8 in time. At least close to it. That's just my understanding of what I'm seeing. There is one small scenario where it could hold here at 2.267. But are you in a bad spot to buy? Absolutely not. You know, these are tokens that won't be around forever. But just understand that could be what's happening. That's why when I started, and now the precious metal or the commodities have fallen a little bit too, but when I came on, I talked about the fact that if you haven't bought commodities yet, you wait for a pullback, and this might not be the whole pullback here. We had a big run up, as I showed you at the start of this, so I'm looking to always add more to my position. So, you know, I'll keep everybody in tune. We know about algo. We know what we're looking at for XRP. We know what we're looking at for all of this, okay? So this could be the start of something much bigger. I appreciate the fact that 118 of you decided to stay during this entire live. Now I'll leave it up to you. Would you like me to show you something informational, informative, by somebody I really respect, and me go roll a relaxation and we can continue this discussion, or would you just like me to end this now? And at the end of it, I'll sing Sunny Days if I stay. You guys tell me. I'll leave it up to the audience. If just one person says they want me to keep them informed, I will keep you informed. Oh no, it's nothing I have to read. That's the beauty of it. It's something you have to listen to. It's something you have to listen to. And It's something that most of you might not even be interested because it's Mike Maloney, but I personally believe this he's one of my favorite people. Him, Peter Schiff, and he's one of my favorite people.
Percent in the near term with reduced.
So I want you guys to see this. I was fascinated yesterday when I read this, and please follow him. He's got 756,000 subscribers. He's 68 years old, so he's starting to get a little older, but he's young enough to where he can still learn a lot. I bought his book, The Gold Silver Rush of the 21st Century. I bought that. It just came out a few months ago. I bought it for me and my brother, who I'm going to give it to when he gets home from out of town, but I bought both of us a book live on air. And I really believe in this guy. He's one of the smartest guys when it comes to this. And he invested in silver back in gold in 2003 and silver like 2004 or 5. He's made a shitload off of it, and he's taught me almost everything I know outside of Peter Schiff and basically Peter Schiff, Mike Maloney were the two big ones. Robert Kiyosaki a lot, but that was more like how real estate works and things like that. But he also talked back in the day a lot more about gold and stuff. But anyhow, I want you to watch this. This is what used to be the 60-40 portfolio split. I want you to see the danger in bonds and why it was such a great hedge to do it in gold and silver and not in the bonds. And just pay attention to this.
And so, you know, we're 2 years out from them. This chart.
We're just going to do it from the nitty-gritty here.
CPI for the CPI without the adjustment for the fictitiously low inflation that we were actually experiencing.
And for the record, when I show stuff like this, you don't have to watch ads anymore because I paid for YouTube Premium because I don't want you guys to see ads if I'm showing something.
Was always higher than what they were really saying because they don't measure everything in society. They only measure a few consumer goods to try and track inflation, and then they make all these hedonic adjustments and replacement and other tactics to make it actually look lower than it really is. But before this, we show the unadjusted S&P 500, and I believe it's like 13 years that you would have been underwater from the 2000 peak, and this, by inflation adjusting it, it went to 17 years. And that section is called a recovering stockaholic because I had a friend that I kept on showing the difference between gold from the year 2000, from its low in 1999 is the absolute low between 1980 and today. That's the lowest price before it began its bull market. And when you compare it from its low to today, it's up 900%. The stock market is up roughly 300%. So gold has outperformed the stock market by a factor of 3. And I would show these charts to him, and he'd go, yeah, but if you just leave your money in the stock market, your portfolio will grow at 8% a year on average. Well, there's these lost decades where it doesn't, and then it's got to make up for lost time. He was several years younger than me. So he's planning on retiring soon sometime. I'm 68. I don't feel like retiring. I'm working because I want to work, not because I have to work. I like what I'm doing. I like all of the education. So, but he's planning on retiring, and he's keeping his portfolio in what I see now with the peak of these bubbles. If you look 2 videos ago, well, yes, and this is not updated to today, is it? We're back up. We exceeded those highs.
Correct. This is what was in the book, so we don't have the last 2 years of data here.
So this was generated in October of 2022, I think. And so we're 2 years out from them. This chart is 2 years old, and so it's showing some highs. Except I think those highs are about to vanish in what Jesse Felder just showed us. So anyway, yeah, let's.
I think so too. Okay, so that's just stocks, for example. I also want to look at bonds, looking at the lost decade and the idea of the two asset classes supporting each other.
Okay, sorry about
Another
that,
chart
everybody.
that was in the book is the 30-year U.S. Treasury bond price index. So these are bonds, and you can see that going back to roughly 1980, bonds have been or had been in roughly a 40-year bull market. And right around the time we published the book, we could see this breaking through the support line here. And we were basically speculating, saying quite strongly that we thought that the bull market in bonds is over, and that bonds aren't really going to be providing that kind of support that they have for the last 4 decades.
Right. I want to point out a couple of things here, that this was, I believe, the longest bull market in history.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do you understand why I want you to watch this? Just say yes or no, and I'm going to play this. But if you're still watching, hit that like button, please. I'd greatly appreciate it.
So it was about time that it was over with. Everything is cyclical. And people were just thinking that this was going to go on forever. And then you look at how perfect this bull market is. That support line. There's nothing else where you can go back to the 1980s that looks like this. I mean, the 30-year Treasury is it. It's the example. This was the longest bull market in history of anything, and it's a perfect bull market where that support line that you've got there, it just comes down and touches it and bounces right off of it for 40 years. There's never been anything like that in history. This is the only example, and people just thought that it was going to go on forever, that this was never going to change. 40 years is enough time to train an entire generation, to get them fooled into thinking that this is going to go on forever, to just taking what happened yesterday and projecting it infinitely out into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And we speculated that came to an end. And so what I did last night is actually update this chart, because being in the book, this chart is 2 years old. So I updated it, and it looks like this. You can see that we are absolutely breaking through that support line. It seems like the bull market has turned into a bear. And so, I mean, I don't own any bonds, and I would have a hard time recommending that to other people.
Here's what I would expect, and it may or may not come true, but just to try and predict the future here. There's going to be a crisis. Powell will cut interest rates down to 0. This will rise. So for a short period of time, bonds will be a good investment, but if it rises, it's going to touch that trend line and bounce off and go down. It's not going to go back up above that trend line that you've drawn there. That support is going to become resistance. And that's typically what happens in markets. And then it's down from there. They can't, they are in a trap. They can either completely destroy, they can keep interest rates at 0. And I showed that in the 30.
Okay, so I can't see your comments on YouTube. For some reason, they stopped showing me it, but I see that a few of you said, yeah, you understand why. So we'll play this. We'll stick around for a couple minutes longer while this plays, and then I'll let you guys go. But I want you to see this. It's important.
Seconds to midnight, the Fed is bankrupt video. That if they drop interest rates to 0 and increase the currency supply, they can never raise interest rates then, which means the currency supply just expands and expands. There's a delay. Everybody will be scared for a while. But then when there's free currency to borrow, everybody will be borrowing a lot of it. And as the currency supply expands, all of those trapped reserves that they created when they tried to bail us out they create currency to buy bonds, to force interest rates down to 0, which traps a whole bunch of base currency. And then if they raise rates, they're paying interest on that base currency so that it doesn't cause inflation. But the inflation is going to be caused by the banks creating currency because of 0 interest rates. It's a trap that Ben Bernanke said that we cannot get out of. There is no mathematical solution to this that I can see, at least. It just doesn't exist. We're in this trap. They either have to not react to the next crisis and not create currency, and they have to keep interest rates low enough so that the Fed once again at least breaks even instead of suffering these massive losses that it's been suffering. So can you name any other business that can survive $200 billion worth of losses? That's what's piled up since September of 2022, when the Fed started going negative. They've had $200 billion worth of losses that they owe the Treasury, and they can't pay it. So, yes,
You got to have a currency printer if you want to survive that kind of deficit, or you got to know someone who has one.
Well, yes, but they can't print the currency without digging a deeper hole, is my point. They have to buy an asset that is backed by the U.S. government. So that's basically U.S. treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. They have to buy that. They have to buy it through the brokerage houses, which are non-bank entities. They have to pay the brokerage house's bank to their reserve account in reserve currency, Fed IOUs that are that special reserve dollar, and they pile up because those dollars don't come out into circulation. They only exist in the checking accounts of the Fed, and then the banks create a bank credit IOU that is like the front end. I talk about the back end of the bank being connected to the Federal Reserve, with all the Federal Reserve checking accounts that every member bank has. And that's where all of the reserves pile up, but only for the banks that are representing a primary dealer brokerage house. Those are the banks. Those selected banks get to become super enriched, and then they're paid interest on those reserves into those reserve accounts. But the currency that the mirror image of the bank reserves, it was created as bank credit and goes into the markets, causing this and causing the stock markets to go up, causing interest rate. That's the mechanism to push the interest rates down during quantitative easing is by buying. And when they buy, they create more currency, which means they're going to owe more interest in the future. And when they try to raise interest rates, they dig themselves a deeper hole. It's a mathematical trap that they cannot get out of, that Ben Bernanke said. So yes, this is a great update. I do expect, though, that there will be a short-term bounce in these bonds, but I do not expect it to break that support line and get back up into what will be considered a bull market once it's significantly above that support. So
seems plausible to me.
Yeah, so, it seems like the beginning of the end to me.
That's one way to put it. So okay, so let's get back to the 60-40 portfolio. We've talked a little bit about stocks, a little bit about bonds. There are really 5 reasons that I found in a particular article here I found on LinkedIn, really 5 reasons why that 60-40 portfolio might not be as robust now as it was historically. And I do want to point out that modern portfolio theory was introduced by Harry Markowitz and William Sharpe in the 1950s. So this is already 70 years old. Of course, it wasn't extremely popular from day one, but it has caught on. And as you mentioned earlier, Mike, that investors have really just defaulted into that 60-40 portfolio, and that's just what they do. And so really what we're questioning here is if that's the best move, and what was the original logic behind the 60-40 portfolio, which I'm going to share in an upcoming article. So in this article on LinkedIn, some of those 5 reasons, number 1 is rising inflation. With inflationary pressures increasing since the pandemic, the real returns on bonds can be negatively impacted. Although interest rates have risen significantly, inflation around 3% still erodes the purchasing power of fixed income returns, which can be particularly concerning for retirees who depend on these returns to fund their living expenses. Absolutely. Inflation is a huge problem, and if the bond...
I mean, honestly, doesn't it make a lot of sense? Doesn't this make a lot of sense? To me, it makes a lot of fucking sense. Like, This explains a lot of what you're seeing today, that a lot of people have a hard time not only explaining to themselves, but explaining to family members, trying to explain to their kids. They don't understand it. Like, if you understand what's going on...
Don't keep up with inflation, people get burned. So any comments on that one, Mike?
No, it's absolutely correct. And this is, my comment is, it's time to investigate this, worry about this, and take action to prevent this.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Number 2, market volatility. Equity markets have experienced heightened volatility with significant corrections and rapid recoveries. This increased uncertainty can be unsettling for retirees who may not have the time horizon to recover from substantial market downturns. That is super important. If you don't have that time horizon to recover, you can't afford big swings in your portfolio. So that means you've got to diversify across a lot of different asset classes. So anything to add here on volatility?
Yes, we just showed that chart with 17 years underwater. And this is exactly what that speaks to. You don't really have, if you've got 17 more years to recover from that, go ahead and ride.
Daniel, I like Ray Dalio. Jim Willie, I'll have to
But one of the things that I noticed, the increased volatility, usually before something goes out of control, there's some sort of wobble.
What you learn is, no, rich people don't pay taxes because...
Some sort of wobble, and then...
Daniel C., I do like Ray Dalio and Jim Willie, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months. Jim Willie I have to look more into. Ray Dalio I have watched a lot of. I always forget to mention him, but he's somebody who I think there's a lot to learn. He might not go in details the way I like Mike Maloney and Peter Schiff. A lot of information, though, if you can sift through it, honestly. There's a lot. Mark Casson, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your over 6 months now with the XRP Predictor. I greatly appreciate it. I always say when you see the pumpkins out, it's the time where you should start to get excited. But normally, like I say every year, there's usually a drop that precipitates it. And then you start to accumulate out of it. I don't know why that always happens, but I know it happened last year too.
You completely lose control. I'm expecting one of the greatest crashes in history. And if you notice this chart here, those dips that happened in, it looks like 2018 and 2020, and then the dip that happened just when we made this chart. The dips are getting bigger, the recoveries are getting bigger, and that just shows that things are starting to spin out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. So extremely volatile, and it's like a whip, right? Like
So the only other thing I wanted, because obviously I can't show you all of this.
50% in stock.
Where was this at? There was one chart he shows at the end, I thought. Right here. The commodities to equity ratio.
This actually comes from Tavi Costa back in August as well. And he presents the commodities to equity ratio. So I just brought this up to give our viewers a sense of just how undervalued commodities are compared to stocks. So if you look at where we've been the last couple of years, this is historically low. I mean, this chart goes back more than 50 years. And you can see like a ratio between really any two asset classes, it goes up and down over time, tends to revert to the mean. And commodities have been basically the cheapest they've ever been in the last 50 years relative to equities. And if this reverts, you can see these numbers here, roughly 0.82 could go to 8.2. So that's a 10x. That means commodities could outperform equities by a factor.
What's the one sector that I keep preaching? The commodities. Commodities. Commodities, damn it. And it's already made me, well, I didn't want to speculate, but we know it's made a lot already. For anybody else who's been holding to.
Of 10 in the coming years if this pattern continues.
And I'm expecting that, and I want to point out that this is from August, the beginning of August. So the data is from the end of July, and we were experiencing a pullback in the stock market at the time, and that's the reason for the little rise on that little tail there. But since then, the stock market has rallied and is at all-time highs. So this chart could be at the lowest point in history. It could be back down where that question mark is. So, well, not that low, but where the circle is, the little circle. It might be right back down to where your opportunity is to buy at the exact low. And that's a pretty amazing opportunity that is being presented in the scale of the bubbles that exist. It's just, for the people that recognize it and have the guts to take action. So
yeah,
there you
absolutely.
Go, guys.
So I want.
I mean, that just exacerbates the point I've been making with commodities. It's been my biggest gainers in 2024. Even though it took some time and there's been some strategic moves, it's been very, very kind to me. Now, could we see a pullback here? Probably. Is it going to happen? I don't know with B2 Gold. The one thing I will say with the weekly, the fact that it's holding under the 200 day, Now, if we get to Friday and we're under 342, it's probably signaling some kind of small pullback. We're probably trying to retest, like I've been talking about on the 4 hourly, just to make sure we have that support in the short term. And that's only at 333, so it's not that big of a move. So, we'll see what happens, but B2 Gold's nowhere near where it's going. I can assure you of that. I can assure you of that. But, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get going. Julie was out here, as you've seen. She was kind enough to let me keep doing this for a little bit. But I want to do one thing for anybody who stayed around. When we're all dark and gloomy, when we just don't know what the hell is going on, and we'll look at XRP right after this so that we can see the chart. But you got to keep yourself positive somehow. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. I know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash, and we are, and we will, and we might, and we did, and we won't, and we will, and we don't know anymore, but we will, and we will, and we won't, and we will, and we will, and we won't. Oh, yeah. Stay true. Stay blessed. I made enough to buy my walking boots. Oh, maybe not. See, he didn't even make... Oh, there you go. He made enough to make his walking boots. Where are you walking from, XRP? I'll never tell. I'll never tell. But the sun's doing very well. He's having fun today. You know why the sun's happy? Because the sun looks for opportunity. And opportunity's coming. And if you missed out on commodities, please pay attention in the next several days. If we do get a 7 to 10% totality pullback, oh, baby. Oh, baby. You got to take advantage. XRP, I mean, some ask me, they just came in, how far is it going to drop? Is it over? I suspect it's probably not over yet. I would suspect it's not over yet. One, because the first target's around 51.11. But there's just, to me, if it comes to 51.11, I find it, and this is just me, and you don't have to prescribe by the same theory as me. I find it hard to believe that, and this was that little catch or break point, but I find it hard to believe that we're not going to come down to 48.7 if we come through there. I also find it hard to believe that we're not going to retest. We got a hard rejection here at the cup and handle resistance, you know, after a big pull up. I find it hard to believe that we're not going to come all the way back down probably to that support. But 48 point whatever can hold us. That is the 2018 resistance that for the first time in 7 years almost that we're trying to hold it as support. I made the argument that don't overlook the possibility that maybe it is making a big W. So in either event, I think it's coming down to that 48.7. I don't think we have much of a choice. But hey, you know, maybe it'll reverse on us and then we'll, you know, be happy because we're in spot positions and we'll say, hell yeah, fuck. But anyhow, have a good evening, everybody. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed day. Please share this far and wide. Consider joining Tom's Army. I would love to have more people on board. Consider, if I hit you right, send a YouTube super chat. You can do Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. Or just share the content and hit like. You know, just join us. If you need to get your exchanges, no KYC or VPN, Cash App, or BITUNIX is where I'll be doing the spot buying when we do Winning Wednesday, FOMO Fridays, and Motivated Mondays. But you also need to have HOTCOIN as well, because I'm going to be buying Velo on there. And then there might be a couple others. They have extended ecosystems that I can buy out of. Their spot is phenomenal. And right now there's a lot of opportunity on HOTCOIN and the leverage side because they have a big promotion going on. So just take advantage. Have a blessed evening, everybody. It's been an honor and a privilege. An hour and a half. How fucking beautiful.